regular cigarettes and magical ones. Do you know what I'm talking about, my brother?
Yeah, well,
Well, this is a regular cigarette. That's what you're asking me.
okay. I
Yeah,
see. Very nice.
yeah,
What
Marlboro
brand?
Lights. I
What
shouldn't
brand are you
smoke.
smoking over there? You look like you're smoking Marlboro Lights. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Listen, you know what's funny? When I first talked to you, you said, what kind of show is this? I said, well, if you've ever done acid, you'd probably like it, and then you laughed, right? I mean, it's that kind of show, bro. But
What the
listen,
hell?
it doesn't matter. So now you move to Yonkers, 62. You go to Rooster. By the way, besides Steven Tyler being famous from Yonkers, do you know who? There's a few other famous people. Do you know the other couple of singers that are famous from
Well,
Yonkers?
Mary Kay. She came from here also.
Right, Mary J. That's
And
right.
but a couple of other guys that that have been around, been around from Yonkers too.
Uh,
I forgot there was another fellow. Well, actually, there's one fellow that passed away. His name was Bobby Mayo. He played in with Peter Frampton, and he was on tour
oh,
with us for a bunch of years. He never made it on his
oh,
own,
okay,
but he did a lot of stuff with a lot of people. He's a fantastic musician.
okay. So then it's in Yonkers. You're a teenager. When do you meet Steven Tyler? How old
Okay,
are
so here's
you?
what happens. We move up to Yonkers in '62 or something like that. Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm used to living in the Bronx,
Right.
and with tight packed houses, and concrete and brick and everywhere. So I come up here and like right down the block from my house is this lake.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
this is before they built the highway along the lake. It was just like a little 1.5 lane road that went around the lake to the golf course.
Okay.
So I'm down there, I'm looking around, and I can't see anything. So I climb up a tree. I'm a little monkey ass. I climb up a tree and I'm looking around the lake and I'm saying I'm feeling all like I'm all connected to the universe over here. And all of a sudden I look down and there's this guy screaming down the bottom of the tree there. He goes, telling me to get out of his fucking tree.
Oh yeah, and you're fucking.
And
How old are you guys? You're about
it's a
15.
kid with like big lips and a big mouth. And so I hook a Louis down on him and tell him no, I'm staying up here for now.
And
And he goes away.
right,
All right. So about 3 weeks later, I'm walking down the block, just exploring the neighborhood a little bit, and I see this kid again with the big lips,
right.
and he's talking to some other kid that has like a cast on his arm, and all of a sudden the little kid with the cast on his arm comes over and tries to start a fight with me because I guess this kid put him up to it. So I'm about to go over there, and do some damage,
Right.
and this guy walks out the door and he points at Steven with the big lips. He goes, you see that kid? I said, yeah. He goes, go kick his ass.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
So that's how I met Steven.
Wow. Okay. But then you
That's
became
how I met
friends.
Steven.
But then you
I
became
met him.
friends.
I was up in his tree, and then I met him on the street. And then you know what? We became friends after that
Was he
because
tough?
we,
What
we
was?
shared we shared we shared a lot of common interests, man.
Right. You were like the same. Of the same age, and you're living together, and you're young, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna be friends.
How do I send a picture to you right now? Is there a way for me to send a picture to you?
Yeah, that's why if you did, I just want to explain, if you did make an account and all that is giving an email and picking a name, is that
Uh,
then you could just come in under that name and then you can put links down in my room and people can click on anything you want. You know what I'm
nah,
saying?
I don't want people clicking on my shit.
Oh, okay, so, right. I totally understand, believe me. But the picture that you wanted to show us was of what?
It was of me and Steven when we were in junior high school.
Wow, wow. You know what? At some point, we'll try to figure that out and do that. But listen, I want to get more into the story. So you meet him.
So anyway, so
Right,
we become friends. We start hanging out with each other because we used to like to hang around down the lake.
right,
We used to like to hunt and fish and all that kind of stuff.
right.
And then all of a sudden, about a year into our friendship, this whole thing happened with the Beatles and the music. Steven's father was the musical director for Cardinal Spellman High School.
I know.
So
Can I just tell you?
Stephen had a big musical background, and
Right.
then when we were kids, when we were so young, and this whole thing with the Beatles started to happen, we decided we were going to make like music.
Okay.
So what happened was Stephen was the guitar player actually. He was playing the guitar, and
Okay.
I was playing the drums. And my father, when he was alive, used to have a bar down. He worked in a bar down on Morris Park Avenue in the Bronx, and we used to go down there.
Oh.
And we used to play a song or two, and they would give us some, they'd give us beers and stuff,
Oh.
So we had a big, it was a big thrill for us. We were like 13, 14 years old.
What was the name of that bar? I think it's still there.
I don't know. It's on the corner of Morris Park Avenue and Bronxdale. I'm not sure. But, I don't go down there anymore, so I don't know.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, what happens is his father tells him that he wants him to start working in his band. His father has a band in the summer up in Southern New Hampshire. So he wanted Stephen to be the drummer. So they sent him to this place called Westchester Workshop, Drums Unlimited, and Stephen has to learn how to play the drums. So now I'm playing the drums and he's playing the drums. So now we can't both play the drums.
Right.
We can't have a band with two drummers and no guitar player. So I had to learn how to play the guitar.
Okay.
So I started learning how to play the guitar a little bit, and I started growing my hair long, and we go down to 42nd Street, and we buy skin tight pants and Beetle boots and all that kind of crap.
You were a hippie.
And we walk around pretending like we were from England, all that kind of stupid shit when you do when you're 14, 15 years old.
Right, I got you, my brother.
Then when we take the train down to the village on the weekends, we hang around the East Village van and go to the Cafe Wa and the Night Owl, and smoking pot, and drinking beers, pretending like we were cool and all that kind of stupid shit.
Right.
But what happened was, so then we decided we're going to make some bands. So Steven has a little musical background.
Right.
And I met these other guys in high school, and they were having problems because they were nice kids and they had long hair, and all the greasers were beating them up. So they asked me to join their band, so people would stop beating them up because I was like a brawler when I was in junior high school and high school. I fought a lot, man. Even though I had long hair, I still had a reputation as an ass kicker. So
You're Italian, right?
Yeah, I'm Italian. Yeah, so I had a reputation. So they basically put me in the band as as a bass playing bodyguard, and that was I didn't have a guitar. I borrowed my guitar from Alan Shaw. Okay. So we had the band, and we really weren't that sophisticated, but we looked really cool.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like they were like the Beatles and they could really play, but we were like the Rolling Stones and we looked really fucking cool. So we had all the girls, we had a good time, and we did that for a couple of years. And what happened was, we tried to make it and this, that, and the other thing. We got a manager, and it never worked out for us. And but as we got older, a bunch of the kids, their parents said, "Oh no, you're not playing the rock and roll, man. You're going to college, man. You're going to school." So so what was left was me and Steven and this guy Don Solomon and this other guy Frankie Ray, who went off someplace else, and we just recruited somebody else that we knew. And we had this band called William Proud. Okay. It was the band before Aerosmith, and Steven was still the drummer in this band. He was still the drummer in this band. We were working out in Long Island somewhere. We had like super long hair. Everybody was getting high all the time. I had a big motorcycle and this, that, and the other thing. We're like 19 years old now, and we're out of school. Right. And all this carrying on. Steven's old bands, the Strangers, and the Chain Reaction. They all came and went because, like I said, everybody grew up except us, and they all left and they all went on their way. So one night we're playing, and Steven's telling Don, the guy in the band with him, he's saying, "Listen, I don't want to be the drummer anymore. I want to be the lead singer, man. I want to get up front, man." And Don's saying, "No, man, you can't be the lead singer because then we have to hire another guy. We don't make enough money now as this." Steven said, "Fuck it. I don't give a shit. I'm not care about the money. I want to be a lead singer. I belong up in front of the stage." I told him, I said, "Steven, listen, man," because I was living in Stockbridge at the time, up in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, with my girlfriend who became my ex-wife. Okay. And I said, "Listen, man, I got a business up there, and I'm making leather clothes and stuff because I was a hippie and I was making leather clothes." I said, I'm gonna go up to Boston, man, and I'm gonna open a shop up in Boston. Why don't we make the band up in Boston, man?" So he goes, "That's a good idea." So he tells Don, "Listen, Don, we're gonna form a new band. You want to come with us?" And Don says, "No." So Steven says, "Well, fuck you, man. We're done." This is like in the middle of the night, man. In Long Island, man, on a Saturday night. Right. We were finished with our gig for the weekend. Right. He hitchhikes up to New Hampshire. Okay. From that night, he left. Hitchhiked up to New Hampshire.
I just want to ask you a few questions. You're saying at this time you had lived up there? You were living up there with a...
No, I wasn't living up there yet, but I was living in Stockbridge, and we decided to move to Boston.
Where's Stockbridge? I don't know where
Stockbridge, Massachusetts.
Okay, so
Alice's restaurant and all that.
When you're with Steven, you're already living up in Massachusetts. You know you're going to be moving to Boston. That's why you're telling them, "Hey, come up here," right? That's what's going on, right?
Well, we already bought, we rented the property up there. We were ready to go up there.
Okay.
And then because we were living at this place in Stockbridge, Mass, and we could only live there during the winter because it was like a school or something. And during the summer they opened it up, it was like a summer school. So we had to move out, and we were living in Stockbridge. So listen, let's go to Boston. We'll move to Boston. I said, Steve, we're gonna move to Boston, man. Why don't we do the band up there? He goes, yeah, I know this guy. I met this guy, Joe Perry. He's like really cool, man. We'll put the band together up there. I said, fine, I'll meet you up there.
Right. Wait. So wait. Hold on. Wait. You're going to and you're doing great. It's so interesting to me. But the accounts that I've had, see, I know that Tyler, the dad, they had Tri-Ricos, right? They had that resort.
It's called Trow Rico, Trow, Trow Rico.
Trow Rico.
It was like a summer place where people would rent cabins and stuff.
I know, and I'm saying that he used to go up there all the time. So by the time you and him had that conversation, he had already met Perry, right, at the ice cream.
He met Perry up there at the barn. He met him up there the year before.
Okay, so he's like, yeah, I met this guy. Yeah, let's do this. So now what happens? You're all in Boston in that.
So now I moved to Boston. They come down. They get an apartment.
Right.
And Joe's mother was like a phys ed teacher in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. Okay. So she knew somebody that worked at Boston College, at BU, Boston University, and he let us use a room down in the university on one of the campuses to rehearse.
Wow.
So we rehearsed. The first rehearsal, we had no drummer because we were looking for a drummer.
Right.
So I'm in my store. I had a leather store at the time on Newbury Street. That's where we moved up to Boston to do.
Okay.
And Joey Kramer comes walking in the store.
Okay.
Now I knew Joey because he was in a band.
Right.
Now, I was in the Dantes with that Rolling Stone type of band.
Yep.
The guitar player had a younger brother who had a band, and Joey was in that band. So when we finished rehearsing in the afternoons, they would rehearse in the same room. So I had met Joey a couple of times.
Okay.
Over the course of the years. So I knew who he was. I didn't know him, but I knew who he was. So he comes walking into my store. Listen to this. He comes walking into my store with a pack of Camels. And he goes, hey, man, I heard you rehearsed here. I brought you some cigarettes. Brought me a pack of Camels. I said, okay. I'll smoke these. But I said, what's going on? He goes, oh, I'm up here in Berkeley, man. I heard that you're putting a band together with Stevie. Can you get me an audition?
Really?
I said, sure, man. I'll get you an audition. No problem. So I called Steven up, found out what was going on, told Joey about where we were going to be and when we were going to be there.
Right.
He shows up and he's wearing like one of those Captain America shirts with the shield, with the blue and the star in the middle.
Yeah.
He shows up, plays the drums. Everybody liked him.
Right.
End of audition. There's the band.
Wow. Well, that's like a big wow. What a great story. So, okay, and by the way, about Joey Kramer, he's from Tuckahoe, right?
He's from Eastchester.
So at some point you must, because now you're both in Boston, you must have said, yeah, I'm from because you're both from Westchester. You must have talked about that, like, hey, aren't you from Eastchester? And you're like, yeah, I'm from Yonkers, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing was, like I said, he came to Yonkers to rehearse at the Barry Schneiderman's
So
band.
are you being listened? Because if what you're saying is true, I totally believe it. Literally, if maybe...
No, I'm making it up, motherfucker.
No,
of course it's true.
No, what's amazing, because I got to even more further, is that if Joey Kramer went to a different store that day and you never saw him, and that didn't...
No, he knew I was there. He came looking for me, man.
Oh, okay, so that's great. You know what? He sought it out. That's really a great story. So anyway, so now you're at... Was the name?
So now we got the band. Okay, so now we got the band.
Was
so
the name Aerosmith at this point?
Now we got to rehearse and we got to get some songs, and we got to we got to make some money. Nobody worked. Nobody had a job. I was the only one that had a job. I had my store.
Oh, you're the only one. That must have been hard because
I had my store. I was peddling some dry goods on the side,
right?
And some weed to make ends meet,
right.
And. I mean, like Joe Perry had a job at some crazy place, at some old age home, something that lasted about 2 weeks or something.
Okay.
I don't know what Tom was doing. I don't think he had a job.
Okay,
I know Steven didn't have a job, so nobody had any.
Wait, listen to me. You're all young. From my accounts of reading, you're all partying, right? Drinking.
Oh, totally.
right? And you're already kind of musicians.
We're brushing our teeth with Boone's Farm apple wine.
Right, and you're young, so your bodies can take it. Right.
We can take it. We're still full of piss and vinegar, no problem.
Right. So
couldn't do that today. I'd be dead in an hour.
Me too, bro. Like I told you, I used to do acid. No longer. That's not.
No more, man. But anyway, so listen. So Tom's sister.
Wait.
Tom's sister.
You gotta let me.
She gets us a gig.
Okay.
We got our first gig, but it wasn't going to be for till graduation for months.
Right.
So what happened was before that happened, Joe Perry.
Right.
You know Hopkins. They had the marathon in Boston. It starts in Hopkinton, Mass, and goes all the way up to BU. Well, Joe Perry lived in Hopkinton, Mass. So somehow he got us our first gig with this guy named I forgot Wayne's last name. Okay. We had this Asian. Right. I forgot his last name. It was so long ago, man.
The Asian guy is hiring you. Oh, that's funny.
But he got us a job in our first gig was at Hopkinton Town Hall. And it was like a combination police station, fire station, and city hall all in one place with a big auditorium. And that's where we played. We played our first gig there.
Wow.
And you can find that picture if you go on the internet and you type in Aerosmith first gig. They'll show you the picture of the four of us, the five of us on stage. You can't see Joey because Steven's standing in front of him. But the four of us are on stage,
I'm looking at a picture of you right now with Steven, and you're slim. You have like short hair, right?
Hold it up so I can see it.
Okay.
Hold it up so I can see it.
All right, how can he see this? Let's look. All right, maybe he'll be.
Hold it up to the camera.
I'm gonna do it. Hold on. I think I'm gonna do it. Hold on. Tell me if you can see. What do you see? What do you see on the screen? You might be on a lag.
Oh yeah, that was taken at the at the MGM when Steven played. He played at the iHeartRadio Awards.
Okay.
He played with that band he had was it was him and Jeff Beck and Randy Jackson.
Wow.
And afterwards they had a party at that Studio 54 at the MGM. That's where that picture was taken.
Oh, okay. How many years ago was that?
That was a great night too. Cause after we hung out, listen to this. He's such a good guy, Steven. Such a good guy. Right. After we hung out at Studio 54, they had to go back to Los Angeles. We had to go back to Los Angeles for something. Okay. So I was staying at the MGM. So I said, I'm staying here. He goes, okay. So we get in the limousine and we drive from one side of the building to the other side of the building. Because he couldn't walk through through the casino. Right. So as I'm getting out of the car, this road manager says, Steven says to have a good time, and he shakes my hand, puts $1,000 in my hand.
Oh, shit. Wow.
So I walk out of the limousine. Me and my wife walk out of the limousine. Wow. We walk over to a slot machine. I put a $100 bill in the slot machine. I pull it about 3 times. I win another $600.
Oh, fuck. What a great night, right?
It was a great night, man. It was a great night.
All right. Yeah, I might have the picture of the guy. I think they're putting up that picture.
But I tell you something, the best part of the night, though, the best part of the night was backstage, sitting on the couch next to Jeff Beck while he warmed up with his guitar. That was the best part of the night, man.
I
flipped out. I was so excited that I had to call my wife up and tell her, I'm sitting next to Jeff Beck. I'm sitting next to Jeff Beck, man. He's practicing his guitar.
Listen, wait. I want to just tell everybody the Radical Notion put up the link to that picture he's talking about, their first gig. So everybody click on that link, that Radical Notion. That's literally Aerosmith's first gig, and he's in the band. And
the funny thing about it, if you notice, usually when you have 2 guitars and a bass, you have like one guitar and a bass on one side and one guitar on the other side. But we were so naive. Me and Joe were both on the same side. And Tom was on the other side of the drummer. It was hysterical.
Listen, just a couple of quick questions I got to ask you. First,
I'm going to give you some trivia real fast. First gig, first song Aerosmith ever played live.
What song?
Route 66.
Oh, that's a cover that everybody does, right? Stones and everybody.
We got it from the Rolling Stones.
Do you know what song I like off the first album the best? I mean, Dream On is good, and Mama Kid and all that. Fucking One Way Street, bro.
That's a good straight. That's a good song.
That is a fucking drinking, partying song, man. I pretended like I'm Steven Tyler so many times as the lead singer. Dude, I can't even tell you. I've seen Aerosmith not even that many times, but I've seen him 60 times. So here's the question.
I like the Make It song.
When you were in with them, were you ever officially named? Were you all like, yeah, we'll be Aerosmith?
We were always Aerosmith.
So you were fucking in Aerosmith. I mean,
we were always Aerosmith.
Okay. So wait.
I played for the first year and a half with the band. It was always Aerosmith. We played as Aerosmith. We played a couple of school gigs. We played at a couple of ski resorts.
Right.
We played at this one ski resort up in Bears Mountain. We played at the. We played in Bellows Falls, New Hampshire. We played a lot in Vermont. We played a lot of places, man. I probably did about 15 gigs with them.
Wow. Okay. Right. And yeah, he talks about that. You guys were touring. So I wanted to ask you quickly though, how did Tom Hamilton get involved? Because I think I read that he's Joe Perry's friend.
Yeah, he was in Joe. Yeah, Tom Hamilton actually lives in New Hampshire.
Oh.
He's from New Hampshire. Stephen and Joe went up there for the summer.
Right.
Understand? There was a summer place, but Tom actually lived in New Hampshire.
Oh.
And so Joe had a band up there with him and this guy named David Pudge, who was the drummer. It was Joe, David, and Tom. Okay. So when we went to bring the band down and started in Boston,
right.
Pudge's parents said, "You ain't moving to Boston. You're gonna get a fucking education and you're gonna get a job.
Right.
You ain't playing no rock and roll band." That's why it was just Tom and Joe that came down. Because what happened was Joe wanted to start the band with just him and Steven and get new guys in Boston. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a three-piece band like Led Zeppelin with Steven as the lead singer. That's what he wanted.
Okay.
But then when Steven said, "No, man, Raymond's coming with me, man. He's coming with me. We're together." So Joe said, "Well, if Raymond's coming with you, then Tom's coming with me."
Oh, okay. Fuck yeah. That's great. So, all right. So you're Aerosmith. You're fucking Aerosmith. You're doing gigs. You're there from what I read. It's 1970 to 1971. Some point of 1971, right? Okay. You guys aren't famous yet. So. Fucking you have a girlfriend and a store, right? Like you got bills, right?
I got a girlfriend, I got a store, I got a motorcycle.
Right, you got bills. And
I got things. I'm moving and shaking. I'm making things happen, man.
But yet you're doing gigs and stuff, and it's hard. So this is the big question that I had all my years of wanting to talk to you, and now.
Why did I leave?
Is what happened? Yeah, this is the best. Go ahead.
Why did I leave?
Right.
Because you know what?
Right.
Everybody was drunk and high all the time.
Right.
It didn't look like anything was happening.
Right.
My wife, my girlfriend at the time was pressuring me. Right. These guys suck. They ain't going anywhere. What the fuck are you doing? I was a hippie, man. You understand? I really didn't care.
And you weren't famous. You weren't, and you didn't know, right?
I really didn't care. And Stephen goes, "You got to practice, boys." I don't give a shit about this stuff. Joe met Alyssa up in New Hampshire, and she knew this guy named Joe Jammer from England, and he told, you got to get rid of that guy, man, and get somebody else that knows how to play.
Oh, you know what? Can I tell you something?
And you know what? The thing is that I didn't even care. I didn't care.
I know.
Because a couple of friends of mine. I had some friends. I said, "Listen, man. I'm getting out of the scene, man. I want to move up. We're gonna move up to Maine. We'll start a commune up in Maine."
Oh, you see, at your young age, you were just thinking all kinds of things different.
Yeah, so we moved up to Maine. Me and two other families. We moved up to Maine with a school bus, a work shanty, and a teepee. We bought 37 acres of land up in New Hampshire, up in Maine, and we started a commune up there. We grew pot and string beans.
I wish I knew you back then. I could explore.
You know what I'm saying? And I was there after about a year. Stephen, they got a contract, and he called my mother, and told my mother to have me call him. So I called him, and he said, "Ray, you got to come back. We got a contract. I want you to come back." I said, "Nah, I like it up here, man." So I stayed up there for a year, and then he called me again. He goes, "Man, I can't take it, man. You got to come down here." At that point, I had been up in New Hampshire for 2 years. I've been in Maine for 2 years. I couldn't take it anymore, man. The winters sucked. I tried to start a band up there. It didn't happen.
Right.
Nothing was happening.
Right.
I sold my property. I came back down to Boston,
Right.
and I started working. I started working for the band. And my first job. Listen to my first job I did for the band. They paid me to hang out with them.
No. But I don't
That's what it
understand.
was.
Wait,
My
let me
first
ask
kid.
you this.
I just traveled with them, and I
When
didn't do anything.
When you came back, Brad was already in the band, right?
Brad was in the band when I came back.
Right.
As a matter of fact, what happened was, listen to this.
Right.
When Brad was going to come into the band, I already told him. I said, "Listen, I don't care. I'm going to leave. You want me to leave? I'll leave. I don't give a shit."
Right.
Stephen goes, "No, man, you got to stay, man. You got to stay." I said, "I don't want to stay. I don't care. I'm going to move. I'm moving up to Maine." So for 5 days, we rehearsed at this place called the Bears Den, in Bellows Falls, I think it was, in Vermont. Okay. And I taught Brad all my parts.
Wow.
that I played. Wow. And then I did the last gig with them in Menlo Park, in Massachusetts. And listen to this story. I had my chopper with me that night. I had a motorcycle. Right. I had this big ass chopper, man, with me. Right. So at the end of the gig, I tell Tom Hamilton, I said, "Listen, Tom, man, I brought my bike out here tonight, and I can't take my guitar back with me because I got my wife with me and my girlfriend." I said, "Can you bring my guitar down to my shop tomorrow?" And I left my guitar with Tom. Right. So we did the gig. I got on my bike. I drove all the way back to Boston where we live. Right. And when I got there, the nut on the front of my axle was missing on my bike. I'm lucky I didn't die. Wow. But anyway, so the next morning, I go to my shop. I'm doing my work in my shop. We were kind of like living in the shop half the time. Right. I go to my shop. I'm doing work. Tom pulls up, and he comes into the shop. Right. I say, "Tom, where's my guitar?" He goes, "Oh, man, I got a haircut. I left it in the fucking car, and somebody stole it." Oh. I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Oh. So the last gig I did with the band was on like a Friday night. Yeah. And the next morning, fucking Tom left my guitar in the car and somebody stole it.
Was he bullshitting you, or he's like?
No, somebody fucking stole the guitar. He left it in the car. Somebody stole it.
Wow. Wow.
So that was the end of that. So I moved up there. I said, "Fuck it, man." So I moved up. But what happened was, though, before I moved up there, Joe Perry had the Stratocaster that he was experimenting with at the time. Right. And he hated it. Right. So he gave it to me. Oh. So they gave me a nice cherry red Strat. I wish I still had it. It's worth a fucking fortune.
Let me wait. I just want to back up a little bit. So you come back, but they're still not famous yet when you're working for them, right? They're getting more popular.
No. Listen, when they're working on a second album. They just did the second album.
Wait. So
I came back the first time when they did the first album, okay. And I saw it. I was a little annoyed because I had written one of the songs on the album with Steve, and I didn't get any credit for it.
Which one?
I was a little pissed off about that.
Which one?
The Woman of the World song. I never got
She's
credit for it.
She's a woman of the world, and God, she knows it.
Yeah, I never got credit for that. It kind of pissed me off a little bit. But anyway, so I went back up to Maine, and then I came down again. Then when I came down the second time, and I saw the album with that stupid looking logo on it. I said, "What the fuck is that?" Uh-huh. He goes, "Oh, that's the Flying A-hole." I said, "It certainly is." Okay. So what I did was I took it and I redid it. I made it look like it is today.
You made right. I can show you something possibly. Wait. Yeah,
and as a matter of fact, I still have all the original artwork. You know that? I have all the original artwork because it took 3 or 4 drafts before I got it to where we wanted.
Any day you want to sell it. I heard you were on Porn Stars. Is that your logo?
Yeah, I sold some T-shirts, but that stuff's worth a fortune.
Is that your logo right there? The one we're looking at? The one that?
Yeah, that's the one. You got it right there.
Fuck yeah.
But the thing is just, if you look at that logo, you'll see on top of the A there's a star. Okay. Okay. The original one didn't have a star on it, and the original one didn't have the script in it. It was block letters that said Aerosmith.
Okay. You know what I'm thinking of doing, bro?
That was the first draft. That was the first draft, and then their manager said, "Why don't we use that script that we use on the scrim that we fly?" I said, "That's a good idea." So we put that on there, and then I decided to put the star in the A because Aerosmith is stars now, so we put the star in the A.
So let me ask you something, right? Like, you seem like an incredibly nice guy, and you're telling me the story, you see how excited I am. when it really, for them, it would have been like the stardom when you get signed and you get that money, right? I think they got 100,000. I forgot what the number was. Uh, and then you find out, but then you're still okay with it. So you came back and you, Stephen.
Yeah, so I did that with them. And the thing was this: after a couple of 3 gigs, now I was, Joe Perry and I have another common ground, man. We both liked comic books back then.
Okay.
We used to read a lot of comic books, man.
Okay.
We used to sit around the house at their apartment when I come to their apartment, hanging out, just drinking Boone's Farm, smoking pot, watching the Three Stooges, and reading comic books. That's what we did. So anyway, so I was into a lot of comic book artwork. That's why I designed this logo. Then one day I told him, I said, hey, listen, why don't we fucking sell some? Like I had like Spider-Man T-shirts and Doctor Strange. So why don't we make some Aerosmith T-shirts, man? Everybody we'll make some T-shirts.
Yeah.
I said I'll pay for it. I'll because I had money. Nobody had any money but me.
Right.
I said I'll pay for it. We'll try it. So I went out and I met this guy who was a coke dealer, but he owned a T-shirt place,
Right.
and I bought 100 T-shirts. I have the originals with me. They were the red T-shirts with Aerosmith on it.
You have
black
one.
black and yellow.
You still have
and then
one.
we did a gig at the Westwood what do you call auto track.
Right.
And I remember we sold the whole 100 shirts out immediately. And when the band went on, we looked out and all the kids were wearing our T-shirts, man. Everybody was like so fucking excited about it.
Yeah.
It was the first time anybody ever did that with us. And then we got really excited about it. And then I talked to the managers about putting the thing together, and they gave me a deal.
Right.
Where they gave me the funds to do all the art, get all the artwork done and and I got the whole thing rolling. And that thing you showed me on the wall, if you notice, that's the what do you call? That was the Draw the Line album.
Right.
That was the first album, and any rock band in the United States ever had a flyer inside the album.
Wow.
That you could buy the cover on a T-shirt, and on the back part of it, of the same flyer, you could join the Aerosmith fan club.
Wow. And that's
so we went from unknown to 60,000 fans in about 2 weeks.
Right. Wow.
That's and our merchandise operation fucking just flowered, man. We were just making. I was making more money for the band than they were making.
So let me ask you something, because I read your Wikipedia. That's how I know that somebody's famous, if they make it to Wikipedia. You've been to your Wikipedia, right?
Yeah, I've been to my Wikipedia.
So that's the limited information. Obviously, you telling me all these stories is the real truth. But so it's saying that you worked for them when they were at the top of their game, like they were the biggest band in the United States, really, at that point.
When I came back to the band, they just put out the second album. They were starting to make it. We were traveling all over the Midwest.
Right.
Cause we're all, listen, Boston is like 3 hours from here. Washington's 3 hours from here. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Philadelphia's 2 hours from here. Out in the Midwest, the towns are like 45 minutes apart. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So we started playing all these towns all over the Midwest, man. All in Chicago, in Indiana, in Ohio, all those places, man. We were playing like, 5 gigs a week. Right. And the people loved them because it was a great live show. We had a really good time. Everybody was buying all our merchandise. We were making plenty of money. Right. Everything was happening. All of a sudden, Jack Douglas comes along.
That's the producer of
Aerosmith.
And
we do the what do you call? We do the Toys in the Attic album, and then the band just goes off the charts after that.
Right.
That's when the whole thing happened.
So that's when Jack Douglas. It was Jack Douglas.
Jack Douglas showed up, and the whole thing changed.
But wait. There's a point where you weren't working for them anymore. What happened with that?
No, I was working for them right up to 1978, 1979.
Okay, so you also were seeing them destruct themselves, like getting high so much, right? Were you getting high that much at that point too? Were you all getting high?
Everybody was getting so high it was like stupid.
Okay, so
we were like orbiting like Mars somewhere. We were like floating out there somewhere.
Do you know who
Brad and Tom weren't as bad, and Joey wasn't as bad.
Okay.
It was me and Steven and Joe that were doing the most damage.
Okay, it was the toxic triplets.
I was off to the side. You know what I'm saying? I'm labor. They're management. I'm labor.
Right. Yeah.
It was a whole different dichotomy. But it was okay because I can deal with the fact that I work for my friends. Even though I started the band with them, I could deal with the fact that I'm not in the band anymore because I was making. Listen, in 1974, 1975,
Yeah.
I was making 75,000 a year.
Oh, that's a lot of money back then. Like a even though they were making millions, that's a fortune back then.
And they were
Even
paying.
now,
All my bills were being paid. I had an expense
right.
account. I traveled everywhere
Right.
It was, I had a good life, man. But I was like too high.
Right. So was your
But I still made money for them, man. Even though I was high, I was still making plenty of money for them, man. I never did anything wrong with them. I never stole from them. I never did anything bad with them. I did nothing but make money for them because I looked at them as like, my family.
Yeah, and you were making money. Let me ask you this:
I'm from the Bronx, man. You in a gang in the Bronx? You're loyal to the gang.
Yeah, you know what? I just want to ask you though. So what happened was they broke up like kind of 1979. They because of the drugs, probably they hated each other, whatever. Right? They broke up, right? So was there a point where you said to Steven, "Can I be can I be back in the band?" Because then they hired Rick Dufresne and the other guy. You know what I'm saying? Remember they had those other two. Did you think did he really need a good guitarist? Rick Dufresne was a good guitarist. I mean, he was not Joe.
No, Brad. Listen, Brad. Listen, and listen. Here's the funny thing. Brad was in this band called the Just in Time Band.
Okay.
Okay, and the guy that was the lead guitar player in the Just in Time Band, this guy Dwight Ferrin, Twitty, he was in the band with me and Steven and Don, that was the one before Aerosmith. He was in that band with us, but then when we broke that band up and me and Steven went up to Boston and we formed Aerosmith, he went up to his hometown in Reading, Massachusetts and started a band called Just in Time. It was him, Fred Whitford, Bobby Lytle, and this guy Jerry. So what happened was when Brad left Just in Time to go into Aerosmith, I went into the Just in Time Band.
Oh, yeah?
I was playing with them for a while. As a matter of fact, we opened up for them one time. When I moved back down from Maine, I opened up from them.
That's fucking great. That is
fucking hysterical, right?
It is great, yeah. That's
fucking crazy. Listen, the world was a different place back then, man.
Right.
Back in the early 70s, the world was a different place, man.
Right. No, I mean that's an incredible story. Like, but I'm just saying that there was a point. Like, you left. I knew that you had a girlfriend, a business, and you had to make money. That was really the bottom line. Maybe if you were making so much money, you would have stayed. But it wasn't. Those those gigs, you get $100 split between 5 guys. Plus you got
6 guys. We had Mark Lehman, the roadie, and we had a truck there. We had to pay for gas. We had to eat.
Listen,
we used to make like $125, and we wound up like about $10 each, maybe. If we were lucky.
Of course. I mean, the fact is, well, I mean, I feel that Aerosmith has talent, and that's why I like them as much as I do. But the odds of it are 1,000,000 to begin with. And nowadays, unfortunately, because of the music that's out there, there won't be any more Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, Queen, The Who. That's not going to happen anymore. Too bad.
Okay,
it was the best. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what? Let me ask you something. These are a few observations I've had. Is like, I love the first 5 albums. Fucking first one, the unnamed one, Get Your Wings, Toys in the Attic, Rocks, Draw the Line. Like, those 5 albums are it's just a great song after another. And I love Women of the World, bro. I've sung it many times. I can sing the whole song to you right now, just so you know that. All right? But and then they broke up, blah 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 blah. And then they came back and they did something remarkable. Only a few bands that they were still able to put these hits out, like many of them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. They did that thing with the Run DMC guys, and they tricked the whole thing out, and it all worked out for them. God bless them, man. Right. I have nothing but happy for those guys. Yeah. Even though sometimes I feel they fell short of the mark, man. Taking care of me, but that's okay. Right. Everybody does what they got to do, man. But they're all good guys. They're all talented guys. I still talk to Joe Perry all the time and tell him, man, I can't believe where he comes up with this stuff. And Steven's my fucking idol for my whole life. Right. The kids are musical genius, and he's just we know each other since we're fucking 12 years old. Right. I know Steven for like, Jesus, almost 56 years, 58 years. Yeah. I know him forever. I mean, he just emailed me from Israel. Because they're on tour. He told me he was at the Wailing Wall, and he went to the Rock, where Jesus prayed and stuff. And he was, he went to the Holocaust Museum and told me how humbled he was by the whole thing. So, we still keep in touch. We're still friendly. I went to a bunch of gigs when Joe was doing the Hollywood Vampires.
Right.
I got to hang out with him and Johnny Depp and Alice Cooper a little bit. And,
Right, that's exciting. By the
you
way,
know,
it was also scary.
it's all good, man. I got a great life. Let me
Yeah.
talk about my band right now, man, because
Let's do it. Let's
I'm
talk
you know,
about
putting a new band together.
it. Let's hear about it. How about
And
it?
what happened was I put the first band together. You know, I was working. You know, after I left the band and I got straight and I came back home and got married and stuff. I went to the French culinary. I got a degree in classical French cuisine.
Okay.
And I've been, you know, I cook for, you know, I'm just finishing my career with that for 25 years
Okay.
in the food industry. But
Uh-huh.
about 5 years into it, you know, one night I was sitting in there and I'm thinking, man, you know what, I miss playing music, man.
Right.
So I met some guys I knew and I put a band together.
Right.
And I go under the name Crazy Raymond, which the name my mother gave me.
Okay.
She told me, "Are you Crazy Raymond?" I said, "Yeah, that's me."
Okay.
And I came up with the Watchdog name, and so we put Crazy Raymond and the Watchdogs together. We even played up in Massachusetts, and we played at the club that Aerosmith owned. You know, the old Mama Kins.
Okay.
You can go on my website, crazyraymond.net,
Okay.
and you can check out. There's a video of Stephen playing on stage with me.
Okay.
When we had the Watchdog band. So we did that for a bunch of years. I couldn't get anywhere, so I gave up and I basically went back into my business, and I developed my business for a bunch of years. And after about 10 or 12 years of that, I said, you know what, I want to play music again. So I figured the Watchdog band didn't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Crazy Raymond and the Plan B band. So we did Crazy Raymond and the Plan B band, and I put an eight song cassette out, a CD out. You can find that on Amazon Digital Downloads.
Okay.
It's Crazy Raymond and the Plan B band,
Right.
and on my website there's also a five song EP. So I tried to do that. I put a lot of money into that. That didn't work.
Right.
So I went back into my business again. But about 2 years ago, I said, you know what? I got to play, man. I like playing.
Right.
So I put a new band together, and this band is called Crazy Raymond and the Third Step.
Okay.
So we did the Watchdogs, the Plan B band, and now we're working on the Third Step, man. I got a great band with great guys. We're doing all original music. We're going to do a couple of cover tunes.
Right.
There's some things coming up. You know, I work with the Draw the Line band up in Boston, that Aerosmith tribute band. I do some work with them now and then.
Do they ever come to New York so I can see them? I heard about this band. Do they ever come to New York? I want to see them. I can't.
Yeah, I do some gigs. Like, when they play around, I come out and I introduce the band, and then I come up and I play a couple of songs with them. We do the first and last song I ever played with Aerosmith, which is. We do the Route 66 song,
Right.
and the last song that I ever played with Aerosmith was Train Kept a Rollin'.
Okay.
So we play Train Kept a Rollin'. So I go up and I do a couple of songs with them. But they're supposedly they're doing the tour in October with the drummer from Leonard Skinner, who just put out a biopic about how the band got killed, because Aerosmith was supposed to be on that plane when those guys died. So they made a film about that, and they're going to put a little tour together with the Draw the Line band.
What plane? What are you talking about?
And the Leonard Skinner tribute band, and supposedly Crazy Raymond and the Third Step is going to be opening up for them.
Yeah. Well, by the way, what are you talking about? The plane that Aerosmith was supposed to be on, and something bad happened. What are you?
Well, when Leonard, we were touring with Leonard Skinner, and we were supposed to, and they were flying from one city to the other, and they wanted us to get on a plane with them and fly to the city with them.
Okay.
And Steven took one look at the plane and said, "I'm not getting on that fucking plane."
Are you serious?
And sure enough, the plane went down and the whole band died.
Holy shit! You're saying that you remember Tyler going, "I'm not getting on that plane," and are you?
Yeah, he wouldn't get on a fucking plane.
Holy
shit! And the only guy that lived was the drummer, because apparently the drummer missed the plane. He's the only guy that lived, so he just made a film. He made a film, and they hired the guy from Draw the Line up in Boston. He's playing Steven Tyler in the film.
Oh, that's so interesting! Wow, I'd like to see that. That's an amazing. I
It's
never heard of that.
going to come out. It's supposed to come out on October 14th, which is the day that the band died in the plane, and then we're going to kick a tour off. Wow. With Aerosmith, the Aerosmith tribute band Draw the Line will be headlining, and the Leonard Skinner band will be the main attraction, and supposedly I'm going to be opening up for them.
Listen, maybe I'll go to one of these shows, man. I'd like to.
When we're in town, you come to the show.
I'm from the Bronx, bro. We'll always get
along.
No
problem.
And we love
but in the meantime, I want you to pump me up a little bit, man. CrazyRaymond.net.
Okay.
Go to Amazon, digital downloads, Crazy Raymond and the Plan B Band.
Okay.
Buy some music, and keep the dream alive, man. Listen, I'm getting tired. It's past my fucking bedtime.
I know, I kept you up late. Listen, I thank you so much. It's been a lifetime dream, really, to talk to you and hear about it. It was a great story and stories, and I really, really appreciate it. I hope we can do it again one day. Thank you so much.
Well, we can't do it again one day. Just remember, man, rock and roll live forever and spread the love.
Fuck yeah. Big thumbs up to you, man.
Fuck yeah. Okay, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All
6
right.
2 and even over and out.
Thank you again, Ray. Thanks, Ray.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. All I know is, I don't know if he's still watching, but thanks, Ray. Thank you, Ray. Fuck yeah. Bob Ness is here. Yeah, you know what I really got from that conversation? That there was a point where he left, and that it still wasn't working out, because it took from even when he was it took them 3 years to get signed of working hard. So it seems that even when he left, Tyler was like, come back, hey, come back. They still weren't famous. Like, come on back. That they liked each other. They used to all get high together. And then he was like, nah. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was amazing. Yeah, he was a cool guy. I'm going to go there. He wants crazyraymond.net. I think you guys put the link up. Somebody did that. If you could throw that link up, I want to go there now. This would be great. Questions when you're doing a trivia game show. Yeah, his name was Ray Tabano. I think I should have pronounced it correct. Tabano. Tabano. Yeah, he had, you know what? See, I'll be honest with you. I thought his Aerosmith stories ended with that he left the band. But it's apparently he was with them during their tours, now working for them. You know what I'm saying? And he was with them. But, and he was in the band. He said he wasn't like jealous, like, fuck, he was making money. Like, he was fucking happy. Yeah. It's weird. And he was making, you have to understand, $75,000 is a good job now. But in 1975, it was a long time ago, 40 years ago, it was way more money. That's like making $200,000. Thanks, Yahoo. I just want to check this out. Oh, there he goes. He got the pictures of Aerosmith up there. All right. So, there he is with Aerosmith. Oh, I've seen these pictures. That's him. I didn't know that was him. Wow. He looks like a real rocker back then. Wow. Wow. I'll get a look at this later. Wow. Thanks. Let me read this PM. Hold on. Somebody pet me. So let me see who's here. Let me just give a quick look and see who hung out with me. I want to thank Alex and A Sight to See, Bobby Ness, Bondage Metal Free, Captain Jenks, Flight 19, Furry Pants, Holy Yahoo, Little Lilac, Maisie Daisy, Mr. 90909, Little Neglected, Little Ray Ray, Little Richie, Ryan Ribble. I'm gonna unhush you. I had to hush him. He's just fucking. I'm doing the interview. He's typing in stupid shit. I was like, this guy's gonna think I'm a fucking. This is the retard show. So I just hushed him so he wouldn't fucking type in any more stupid shit. It just never ends. Thanks, Bondage.